And there's only one that's ever been undefeated. And why has he got two different names? And so, as you follow him, you can follow him from the ancient Chilean mountains, because they say he came and he was hewn from a mountain as a single stone, and then he rolled down and he struck the foot of the clay and the iron, and he brought down all of the kingdom, all of the Roman Empire, all of the Roman empires that existed over the ages, all of the Fourth Reichs, all of the Fourth Reich. Go through them. Go look to the book of Daniel, Ezekiel, read the prophecies, you know what I'm talking about. So Nebuchadnezzar got to wake up. He can't stay a vagabond. He can't stay eating and grazing in the fields forever. But in order for him to wake up, he got to realize that he's Hiram. And in order for him to realize he's Hiram, he got to fall in love with Jenny. In order for him to be in the right place to fall in love with Jenny, he got to be where the three Orions meet. And the place where the three Orions meet had to be in the right hand of the mother, or they call the right hand of the father in the patriarchal system. It's the right hand of the mother. And the right hand of the mother is Mother Earth. And the only place on earth where you can find the right hand is the state of Michigan that look like the right glove. And the only place in the state of Michigan you can find three Orions. Other than that, you have to go back to Egypt. But that time is a different time, because you got to keep in mind, we got procession. You got procession, and then you got the wobble. So exactly where the three Orions is now is where the three pyramids would have been being built when they were being built. You do the math, you'll know the time frame. These smart-ass scientists, they figure everything else out. Maybe they can figure out who Hiram is now. Maybe. Maybe they can figure out who the crown prince of heaven and earth, who going to tell everybody that the Christ is no man, and that the Son of Man will never betray the mother, even when they tell you that bullshit in the defamation story about Horus got so irate that he attacked ISIS. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. If he would have got that irate, he would have shredded Set. He would have shredded Set. He never get irate enough to go against his mothers. You a damn fool. It's the same thing that they tell about the Yaldabaoth and the Beelzebub and all that, they going against their mama. Who the hell in their right mind have a loving, caring mother and gonna go against her? That's not the nature of righteousness. And so when they tell you these smear campaigns, you need to ask questions. And once the Pope realized that there's a possibility that this Hiram dude might be somewhere around, he gonna run and he gonna hide under his skirt because he's an imposter. And just so y'all know, and I'm going to leave it with this. If Hiram be not raised, we all be damned. But if Hiram be raised, them CEOs for GM, Ford, and Chrysler will be marching their ass down to Lake Orion. If Hiram be raised. And if Hiram be raised, then the wicked be damned. Because there is only one resurrection. That's an Osirian resurrection. And if you don't know what it is, you need to find out. And that the Christ is no man. And the Christ is in from heaven, adorned as a bride. Christ is no cross-dresser. And the Christ descend from heaven in the New Jerusalem, adorned as a bride. The Christ is no cross-dresser. Go back to Rome and you'll find your cross-dresser. Your cross-dresser is the false Helen. He is the one who chopped off the head of Medusa. You gotta go to your Egyptian, your Kemetic sciences. Medu, 10, Sa. That's a certain type of priest. I'm not gonna give you all of the answers. I'm gonna let y'all do some homework. Y'all need to know if Hiram is awake. Y'all need to know who Hiram is. Because Hiram will tell you he Osiris. And that there's only one resurrection, an Osirian resurrection. And Hiram would be the one to tell you that the temple need to be constructed in the physical three-dimensional reality, the same as it was constructed in the genetic DNA helix, because it's all been cleaned up. That's all this is about. And all of these black people that need to be in unity, this is the reason why. We did that to them people. But we don't know how long we let those Babylonian sycophants hold them people in waste and squalor conditions worse than anything that you can possibly imagine seeing right now. Mama's main gripe was they did not have the love of a mother, but they was allowed to feel the sensation of love because they had mitochondria. They can feel love, and they were not allowed to be mothers. They was not allowed to love as mothers. They were not to feel the love of a mother, and that's what the Iceman inheritance is telling you was created in Europe. And so y'all know what Europe was. It was called EU rope, but that's not what it was. It's actually EA. EA is another name for ENKI in the rope. The rope was the place where he restrained his rogue creations. He was Dr. Moreau in your island of Dr. Moreau, but he wasn't operating because he did not agree. He wasn't doing this on his own accord because Enlil, the one whose voice shook the heavens and the earth, had rage at Mother Isis for being able to procreate a male child without the aid of a man. He is the one who ordered all of that. So when Enlil ordered the construction of that genetic trash heap, ENKI done it. And he brought out his, what they call your diamond in the rough, and he named him the Adam Kadmon. And if you don't know what the Kadmon is, and you still thinking that this is some Kabbalistic Babylonian good shit, I'm going to tell you, the Kadmon, the Ka, is a body. The Ka is a body. In the Damu, or the blood, that's all it was. It was a body with blood, period. A body with blood. The only reason why it was able to animate is when they dredged the Nile, the Tigris and the Euphrates. So they got the silt from both white and blue Nile, or white and blue Nile, and from the Tigris and Euphrates from the four rivers. So this was your garden. They're talking about the four rivers. In this, they found the richest soil. So this is why your blood turned black when it dries. It turns back into this. And it's saying from dust you came into to dust you shall return. That was the order anytime you created something, because energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's just transferred from one form to another. So in reverence for Prime Creator, any creator that create anything, out of respect alone, always allow it to return to the state in which it came before it was altered. And so now they had made such a horrible mess, and it had to be where everybody had the right of ascension. And so we as black people see for the last 300 years, we see what it felt like for 350, 400 years of not being able to have a family. To see the world all around us, all of these Caucasians getting Grammys and Oscars, and we not getting them. And all of them getting to walk in these big buildings of affairs, and we ain't allowed in them. And they can go where they want, when they want, and we not allowed to do it. So we are now in the position of testimony. And our testimony as descendants of this mess is this, is that before you go to bothering and tampering with creation, you must have the proper character in order to give anything you create the proper respect that is required in order for balance to be maintained. This is the law of Mott in truth. Balance must be maintained. Black people in America become the testimony and the understanding that nobody should be thrown away. The people in Ethiopia, those babies with those stomachs swollen from hunger, imagine them being in that condition, in the ice where no one knew you were. In the ice. And so we found them. And we found them being suckled by wolves. Some of them had begun to take on the appearance of canids. And so the Queen of Heaven and Earth called the people from the Dog Star, who left us canines on earth. in the form of the guardian wolf to guard over the innocents. And so they came and they looked like Chewbacca on Star Wars. I said, that's not our people. And we didn't send them here. And we don't know what they are or where they come from. But then they found some that kind of looked like Saurians. So Namo and Amo thought that their children had been up to mischief. So they sent, and they was like, no, those are not ours because of the ones that looked reptile. And then you had other ones that you couldn't even make out what the hell they were. And so they became your sideshow freaks. This was the genetic destruction that took place on Earth. And I'm giving you the actual PG, G, ABC, elementary, kindergarten version of how horrible the situation was. And because everybody that came, nobody could identify it, then she ordered genetic testing. And the chief scientist, the one that they call the Abyss bird, chief scientist, the thrice great, the TEHUTI, the thought, came back and told her, they humans. They can't ascend. They got this disorder in their central nervous system. They can't facilitate the serpent fire. Nothing can rise up the middle pillar. They can never ascend. They don't have the melanin. They don't have the sacred secretion. The pineal is actually like a rock. It's so calcified, there's no way whatever they did to them before they put them over there, make Adolf Hitler look like he was planting flowers with Girl Scouts. And Mama was irate. The record in Egypt has somebody bringing the Caucasian to the queen. And the queen says, what manner of beast is this? And so the queen, being irate that they could feel love, but they couldn't ascend. They had never had a family. They never knew what a family was. They had never had anything of note on the world stage. They were a new creation. And this new creation needed to have a sense of dignity and self-respect, a sense of moral conduct and character. They had to have a sense of direction and purpose. All these things had to be infused with the love of the Christ so that they can create the opportunity to ascend, but the genetics did not allow it. No respecting African at that time would touch him, as you will see when you read Superman the Man by Joel A. Rogers, where the way that they treat us now is how we treated them then. So basically, we have been judged by our sins. Our condemnation has been effectuated, and our redemption has taken place. But remind you, the ones who paid the penance is not the ones who done the dirt. So when we see the 50 Nagas, 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 the 50 Nagas, and the 50 Nagas are the 50 kings that come, and they come to uplift and support this Hiram when he wakes up. And it's 50 kings, or the 50 Nagas. It's an Ethiopian term. And it's funny that it's an Ethiopian term, this 50 Nagas. And these kings are all coming to pay homage to this one. Now, let's look at this a little deeper. The 50 Nagas, this is Tupac. This 50 niggas. Tupac was Tut in Egypt. He was Tupac Amaru the first in Central America, but he was named after Tupac Amaru II. And he was able to establish a foundation as 50 Nagas, or as you say, 50 niggas. So as I put together the 50 sisters to have the full 100 monkey effect, I got to put together the 50 sisters. And when the 50 sisters and the 50 niggas or nagas come together, everything just instantly start to change. Now, the 50 nagas or the 50 kings were the ones who come to support Melchizedek in his Abrahamic wars. When he came to support Abraham, which at the time was Abram. Ram. And so it was the heart of the ram before it was the black heart of the ram, or the sealed with the black goo, which vibrates on 33.3 dimensional frequency, meaning it's the third dimension. The frequency is 33 points above the third dimension, which gives you your 33 and the third. And this is the raising of Hiram. So maybe they'll figure out if Hiram raised, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll figure out if they want to continue to play in these shenanigans and these games and piss Hiram off and doom us all. Or they're going to step up, welcome the boss, pay homage to Hiram, that Hiram has been raised, and that the 33 and the third has been revealed, and that the three kings will make their march down to Orion, because Hiram has spoken to them, has left them messages. Just like that Pope and his pedophile priests have to restore the seat of the Black Madonna. The same thing. Because they should know by the signs and the stars, there's no signs left. If you know the signs, you know the times, and you know the agenda. Hello, Farrakhan. It's a great honor to get a cleanup order so the temple can be built. The three-dimensional fixed position reality temple, that's the expression. Be nice if you could give the orders. It's a great honor, but you can turn them down, Minister Farrakhan. But anyway, so I hope y'all enjoyed the story of Hiram. And I don't know, maybe y'all can figure out if Hiram raised or not. But at the end of the day, the son will never betray the mother. The crown prince of heaven and earth, the Prince of Peace, will be crowned in the Congo. You can't stop that. The people don't never have to accept the raising of Hiram, be they Masonic, Shriner, or whatever. It does not matter. The games is over. You know what it's about. It's genetic cleanup. The Negroes is the understanding now of why they had to do all the suffering. They chose it. They're not smart enough, nor were they strong enough to oppress you this long without your own help. Without your own help. So if you weren't part and party to the writing of the white supremacy doctrine, they would have never figured out how to oppress you. White supremacy was written by black people in order to clean up a genetic mess. And none of us had the heart to actually be able to do the actual dirt that needed to be done to get us to this day, Judgment Day. This is Judgment Day, and this is what the judgment was all about. So we all know what it's about now. And if there's any questions, y'all can leave them in the comment box. A little later on, I'll go through them. I did not know I'd be on here this long, but I don't even know how long I've been on here, but I feel like it's been a while. So I hope y'all learned something. I hope this was uplifting and encouraging for the world to see that Hiram has been raised and that he did his due diligence, and Mama told Hiram to find a way out for as many as possible, and that he did find that exit, and that the judgment that they laid down, that dirt blew up in their face, and they can't condemn the sisters no longer. They can't condemn my mama no longer, and they can't keep running these smear campaigns on these women any longer, because I'm not buying it, and we are about to flip the grid, because Hiram has been raised. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. One love. Working with each other. Young Pharaoh, if you want to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem, your first order of business should be do a powerful unity video with BNX or with Prince York or any of those guys that's out there trying to wake people up. Y'all have to come together. Y'all are the most powerful voices that's being most misused in our community right now. Y'all are the voice of the African American web, the black web, the Moorish web. Y'all our voice. And as long as y'all fighting each other and chopping each other's leadership down, all y'all doing is adding to the problem. Stop adding to the problem and add to the solution. Let's talk about Dr. Sebi, Nipsey, and Farrakhan dynamic. Young Pharaoh said that he was clout chasing Nipsey because he didn't support Dr. Sebi when Dr. Sebi came to him for some money. Now, there's a reason for that young Pharaoh has no clue. Farrakhan was barred by God, not by man. As was all of us that look like this, that's Grail Kings. We were barred from disseminating wealth. We couldn't share our wealth, and most of us was not even allowed to hold it because we was under a judgment. And this is what none of y'all not understanding. This is not the white man oppressing you. The white man never had the capabilities to oppress you. If you look at the historical timeline from the time Africa fell to now, go back to the rise of